I watched this Google Hangout with people debating this presuppositional argument against some Christian apologist, and it inspired me to write something down, and I'm just going to put it out there to the world. I guess one of the things I'll do is I'll try to send it to somebody who's, made the side of the argument that I obviously have sympathies toward, and see if there's any response to it. To explain it, it's just something that I wrote. It just might not make much sense to anybody, but it's basically just me doing my best to mock a position and the way things are explained by presuppositionalists. They should be mocked just for thinking of such an awful name. But they are awful people, so they have a awful name. So what I'm calling this video is the hypothetical, psychopathological, presuppositional theist. And it's basically, I'm just pulling something that supposedly represents or what they make me feel like what they're saying. It comes off as gibberish, so this is my interpretation of gibberish. Now I'll include all of this in case my speech isn't very clear or something goes wrong with this video. It's the first time I've really put something out there. I've recorded other things and they never, reached the level that I wanted to put them out there. So I'm going to put this out there, and I'll accept any embarrassment this will generate or shame for holding such views or daring to, feel this way about certain people. So let me just preface by saying the following I wrote here. I was just imagining that one of these types of interesting people, the presuppositionalist, had to sit and listen to it all without interrupting. Then there would be a lively discussion, of course, where we both get many opportunities to challenge each other. So here it is. Does anyone absolutely believe this? There is a purpose to all that exists. There are two parts which I will note here that are the most important things to everyone. Anything else is much less important and is very likely just to be nothing but solipsism, which is always bad. 1. Every human being / sentient being, if you must, is given the knowledge at some point, or at the beginning of their existence, possibly, and absolutely knows the nature of the God, but may deny the nature of the God as it was made known to them. This necessarily means that no one ever forgets this completely, or comes to believe something entirely different instead, or suffers so much that they lose so much or all of their faculties, or become so delusional that nothing else makes sense except the inescapably obvious nature of the God. To make a claim that counters this is a choice to deny the nature of the God. Everybody knows it, and we all know that we all know it. You got that? Now, the second very important point. The God will reveal to individuals the nature of the God before they can start telling other individuals about the nature of the God, which they already knew, but those being told about the nature of the God haven't had the second absolute knowledge event, possibly. They haven't experienced that. This second time is very important because it is a special event where afterwards it is possible for the enlightened individual to show to the other individuals what was revealed at the beginning to everyone and never was in doubt to any individual. Another reason the second time is very important is because when it happens and the individual has thoughts that can be put into words, also thoughts that can't be words, and some things that are magical, miraculous, and or transcendental, which are all put together in a big old heap of absolute knowledge of the nature of the God. Now, the second time is also very significant because it is the beginning of showing that you know the truth of the nature of the God. You are a sophist, and you will always be one, and you will never lose another argument because all other arguments are false. There. Now, just remember that the God has let us know that we all have a very, very simple nature, and the worst sin for you to commit is to argue against anyone who has had both of these kinds of knowledge absorbing events. Based on how the God made everything, you have no argument. Finally, remember that, hypothetically, if you are a Christian presuppositionalist, that although the current definition originated only around a century ago in a then ineffectual, currently diminished sect, it can be shown to have been used in a slightly altered form in earlier apologetics. The case can show more of its universally obvious strengths when you piece together what is written, so it sounds more like what the absolute nature of the God sounds like. Sure, there will be centuries of silence until you get back to biblical times, but consider how much you will have to work with. It's a really long book, so you should be able to piece together a whole bunch of stuff. There's never been an absence of presuppositional apologetics. It has filled the entirety of history with ample evidence of its obvious necessitude. That's a real word, too. So just ignore anyone who may even think that there is a possibility that that this whole thing is just the epitome of all apologetic delusion. Hope this means something. Thank you.